Trying to fuck with your countdown, but it ain't working.
Yeah. We're
Hey,
recording.
remember how the new YouTube update said you can say fuck, just don't say it in the first 7 minutes?
Yeah. Oh boy.
I need to teach myself about that, huh?
Maybe. Anyway, fighting games are.
The bizarre thing is, it's a thing about the social environment, right? Because when I've noticed when I record Gladius, I will maybe say like once, and that's about as severe as my cursing gets when I'm by myself. It's when I'm with you guys or with my family that I start swearing like a sailor.
For me, it's just do I need to save or do I need to waste time until I can get my point out?
Yeah, that the Sam Jackson thing. Use swearing to cover up the time you spend in a sentence thinking.
Yeah. Waste time equal become Australian. Become
More
Australian
or less.
now. Anyway.
Oh,
Yeah, fighting games
hopefully less Australian words of endearment that are nonetheless thought of as misogynist slurs in the West, in the rest of the West.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So yeah, fighting games are saying fuck in the first 3 seconds, I guess.
Yeah, that's what they are. They sure fucking are. Big fucking rigs. Oh boy, it's just brain rot. We've been chatting already for like sitting around for like an hour before this recording. And there was just some goofery ahead of the recording as well, because I slept past the actual time we were supposed to start this.
Yeah, and then daylight savings made sure that we miss the time anyway. So
yeah, there was daylight savings time fuckery as well, because daylight savings time just ended here in the States like a day ago. And thank God, I would like to have it be daylight at 7 o'clock, please. Getting kind of annoying for it to be nighttime at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. So,
anyways.
Big Fire, Tekken 8, Jin Kazama, Paul Phoenix. They are Jin Kazama and Paul Phoenix. Yay.
I didn't even watch the trailers.
Me neither.
Okay, you know what I hope then? I really hope they've just entirely changed both characters. They don't have any moves they had before, just to blow my ass out, just to blow your ass out.
Yeah, but Balls
Tekken 8
live on podcast.
Paul now exclusively has a moveset consisting of AoE.
I was gonna say Paul Phoenix now plays like Lei Wulong. He doesn't have the same animations, mind you. He just has the same moveset, but different animations.
Yeah, as you do.
And Jin is now a puppet character.
Oh, good God. That's what he thought with the Devil Gene, huh?
Yeah.
Finally, figured out a way to deal with it. By making it someone else's problem. Oh, wait, he was already doing that.
Yeah. Then, Mori P, the guy who worked on BlazBlue, made a new studio with NetEase money. Which means maybe more BlazBlue, but it won't be called BlazBlue this time. You know
Which is in itself hilarious, because when BlazBlue started, it was Guilty Gear, but not Guilty Gear.
I was about to say, like, you know how BlazBlue was just Tesco brand Guilty Gear? Yeah, get ready for Tesco brand BlazBlue.
What's below Tesco brand? Dollar store brand Guilty Gear. Here we go, boys.
Yeah.
We got Dollar Tree Guilty Gear.
This time the entire cast is related, and they all want to fuck the MC. All of them.
You have not yet seen the sheer quantity of MC fuckage.
Mori producer, further proving that incest is Wincest. Anyway.
Okay, you said Mori producer. I thought you said more reproducing, and I was going to say yes, that's the idea.
Look, we can't stop until every anime character has the Habsburg chin.
Oh, good God. I don't know. Japan's got some old ideas for some of this stuff. They might be like one of those ones that's like, oh, if we incest enough, it will produce the pure. Oh boy.
So yeah, anyway, for Street Fighter 6, Hikaru Takahashi was announced as a commentator. We don't know who she is, I don't think.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Okay, cool. DNF Duel announced a new character called Spectre. It's a DNF Duel character, isn't it?
I bet it is. I mean, like, the thing is, it needs to be said. I mean, for one thing, of course, you know, we're not DNF Duel guys, either of us. But on top of that, we just had a really hot 2-week period of news before this. Things are going to be a little burnt out for a second, especially because now we're entering the anticipation phase of we're coming up on the actual release of Street Fighter 6. That's going to be a deluge of news because people are going to actually start dissecting these characters. And there's several characters in Street Fighter 6 that we've seen a couple of the new moves of, but we haven't seen, like, what's the actual, like, what's the name for the drive enhanced moves in SF6?
No clue.
Because there's the moves you can spin drive meter to enhance, and they get better. And those are all very big moves for the characters we've seen so far. Ryu's drive enhanced Hadouken is not a Hadouken. It's like a short. It's like a point blank Hadouken that pops the enemy up for a combo. And he's got similar stuff like that. There's big game changing stuff that is not the move it was before. Luke's got that weird DDT grab.
Yeah.
Most of the cast we have not seen the drive enhanced moves for, even though those are all big game changers. Like, someone pointed this out the other day. We already have seen more of Geef, Cammy, and Lily than we've seen of Honda.
Yeah.
And you know they're going to reveal Season 1 of DLC in the month before game release.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my boy. I need to see his specs.
Like, Akuma's definitely the one, like, who else was in that first pack? Ed, Rashid, and Female Fong?
Yeah. I believe so.
Ed is another one that I'm really curious about, because that's a character who had so little in Street Fighter V that they have to massively expand him, you know?
Yeah.
Like Rashid, I can see where they could comfortably take the stuff Rashid had in 5 and just make it better, and there you go, there's Street Fighter 6 Rashid. Ed, what the fuck are they gonna do with him, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I hope they don't keep the hold down a button gimmick, but they probably will.
I was about to say, that gimmick is there for a reason. It's for people who really just can't stand motion inputs. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with there being a character for people who don't like motion inputs.
I mean, the problem for me is that I like Ed, but I don't like the way he controls.
Oh, I hate the way Ed controls. Like, doing his projectile, for me, is way more difficult than any actual motion input.
I would rather do a pretzel to do a Hadouken.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, it's pretty bad for me. And it's, again, one of those things where, like, I'm sure there are probably Smash pros out there for whom Ed makes perfect sense, but they still have trouble with Ryu, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a difference of control. Sometimes the character's move inputs are just too much trouble. It's the reason why whenever there are grapplers in NRS games, I can only play the ones with simpler inputs. I can only play Solomon Grundy or Swamp Thing, while Bane, for instance, has always presented problems for me, you know?
Yeah. Meanwhile, I pretty much exclusively play grapplers in NRS games because everyone feels kind of bad, but they feel the least bad, usually.
It doesn't. It does help that oftentimes NRS grapplers get really crazy looking grabs.
Yeah, and like, you know, it's. I think the difference is like, you know, with most other characters, you need to constantly be on top of the motion inputs in NRS games, and the input reading for NRS is wildly inconsistent between normals and motions. So you either find a setting with motion inputs where it actually feels good, or you end up like me in MK11 where either it's too easy to do motion inputs and it fucks up my normal inputs, or it's too hard to do motion inputs and now the game doesn't read them.
I wish we had like some kind of input a specialist type guy here. Because I'd love to find out why that is that, like, Mortal Kombat 11, the inputs didn't bother me, but they were a serious problem for you, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's probably like a mixture of just, you know, I don't mind dirty inputs as long as they do the job, which means that I don't spend a lot of time cleaning them up. That being said, I can do clean inputs. Like I can do pile drivers on a pad. It shouldn't like I can do pile drivers on a pad in alpha 2 and like just alpha in general. It shouldn't be this hard to actually just do a down back forward input in MK11. And like really, it's not even just doing the input at all, because I can do the inputs fine most of the time. It's the consistency of, okay, the game decided that I was still in normal input mode, so I guess I don't do that special. Or the game thought that I was going for this special that's down back instead of down back forward. Great.
Yeah.
And like the thing is, you know, immediately the first thing that comes to mind, oh, maybe I pressed the button too fast or whatever. No, I went into training. I looked at the inputs. Sometimes the game would just decide that I wanted to go for a different move despite reading my inputs cleanly.
Yeah.
Which is what confounds me. Because if I fuck up the input and I can check in training mode and I can't reproduce the thing, then it's my fault. Then I need to clean up my inputs, whatever. But no, sometimes the game's input reading was just so lenient that it just assumed that I wanted the move but I wanted the other move that had the same motion as a part of it.
Yeah.
And I just don't get that.
I mean,
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem I've had with Mortal Kombat 11. That particular issue of, okay, I got a string here, it's 1, 2, 2, and I want to end it with a special move that is... Or no, I got a string here, it's 1, 2, 3. I want to cancel after the third hit into back forward 2. Oh no, wait, the game read the back forward 2 input and canceled into it too early, so I didn't get the full 3 out. So I just did 1, 2, and then the special move.
Yeah, and then usually when stuff like that happened with my characters, it's instead of getting the special out, I just don't get the special out. I do the string and then drop the combo, which feels great.
That is a mix-up in and of itself in NetherRealm, though.
It's hard to capitalize though when you mix yourself up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah. Anyway, I forget what I was gonna say. I guess I'll just look at the news again. So yeah, then other news. Beta testing for Koihime Enbu Rotorai version 3.50 will begin soon, which, you know, balance changes, probably a new character, I don't know. I own this game because of Soon.
Call me? Oh, that game Soon bought you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a game about the three kingdoms, but every like it's a very simplified input game. Which whatever, and also like it's all little girls.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
Soon really put in fighting games on Steam and bought the first game that he didn't recognize.
No, from what he told me, he went out of his way to buy me games that don't require hard inputs, because he bought those games when he didn't know that I'm morally opposed to the inputs.
That is really funny,
isn't it? Like, you know, I say it as a joke. I'm not actually morally opposed to easy inputs. They're whatever. I prefer not having to put up with them. But if they're an option in a game, I don't mind. in fact, I prefer, because, you know, sometimes my niece wants to play fighting games. She doesn't want to learn how to do combo properly just yet.
Yeah.
So whatever, like, you know, if easy inputs are in a game that works out for me, But if easy inputs are the only way to interact with the game, then I will probably not like the game as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, like soon bought me games that were noob friendly on purpose, and that was one of them. Other one was a game that's apparently like a spin-off of an old Sega RPG, and it just refuses to run on my PC. One startup.
Nice.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Anyway, in news that we can actually talk about, Yu Budokai Tenkaichi announced.
Yeah! Okay. So, it's always like the iffy thing for me is bringing up arena fighters on here, because it's like, oh boy, time for Alex to duck out because he has nothing to contribute here. But Budokai Tenkaichi 3 was one of the games of my childhood that I dumped loads of time into. And I am fascinated by the idea of a Budokai Tenkaichi 4, which tries to shoot for the same ideas that define Tenkaichi 3. That is to say, monstrous loads of characters and content, and a complete lack of care for balance. Like, if we wanted a Dragon Ball game that is well balanced and competitive, Fighter Z is right there. Well, okay, they tried to balance it.
Yeah.
God bless their hearts, they tried to balance it. But Budokai Tenkaichi is the game that is about dumb fun, turn off the brain, do the power-up, shoot the fireball. And while ordinarily that does not super interest me to watching a TV show, or to trying to play in a game that tries to actually care about having an intricate and well-designed gameplay balance structure, if the game is just saying, fuck it, balls to the wall, this is not supposed to be balanced, this is not supposed to be fair, this is not supposed to be a game you really become a pro at, just blow shit up, then I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And did you ever play Budokai Tenkaichi 3?
No. I've played a bit of Budokai. I forget which one, probably 3. Just normal Budokai 3, because
Probably 3, yeah.
Because I've always preferred the normal back. This is my thing. I'm fine with arena fighters. I will always prefer the 2D counterparts that they made before the new 3D ones. Like, objectively, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 is probably the best in the series because it has the most content, and otherwise the series has not much to offer. Like, it is very legitimately the same as Budokai Tenkaichi, where it's just like, here's a bunch of shit. Allegedly we balance the characters, but not really. And then just have your dream matches from the series. You want fucking Sakura to beat the evil god alien from the end of the series? Sure, go ahead. I don't care. You can do it alone. Why not? But, or not even Sakura. 10-10. That's a rough one. Anyway.
Oh
yeah. The best thing is they kept the characters somewhat real. Like, it is like Budokai Tenkaichi. They kept the characters somewhat canon to the show, by which I mean that 10-10 actually sucks.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
If they kept the canon of the show, 10-10 wouldn't even be there.
Well, no, they have like pretty much anyone, like any named character playable. Like Ninja Storm 4 is the Budokai Tenkaichi 3 of Naruto. So like literally any named character that ever existed is in the game and playable somehow.
Right, but they don't remember that 10-10 existed most of the time.
That's the loophole. She's in a couple of scenes. So technically she exists. Technically. But yeah, I digress. But yeah, like I preferred just normal Ninja Storm on the PS2 to Ultimate Ninja Storm because it had more. It had a larger chance of becoming an actual fighting game.
Yeah.
And same for Budokai, where like I preferred that one because sure the roster was smaller, but it was closer to an actual fighting game than Tenkaichi.
Yeah.
That being said, like unlike some people, I don't have an allergic reaction immediately to something not being, like not having even a chance to be a proper game that you can be a pro at. Cause like I like JoJo All-Star Battle R. That game is never gonna see Evo. Like unless someone runs a side tourney, that game is not gonna see Evo. It doesn't need to. It was made for fan service.
That game, every knockdown means you steal the opponent's meter. Every
Yes.
knockdown. Like, you will never see the supers in tournament, ever. Because no one is allowed to have meter. It's crazy.
And like, that game is a lot of fun. Like, it's a very good fan service game. But that's what these games are, fan service.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, I think the new Budokai Tenkaichi could be fun in the same sense of do whatever, really. Like, if you want Vidal to beat Omega Shenron, why not?
Yeah. Good luck trying to do it. Well, actually, Omega Shenron, I don't remember actually being that strong.
I wouldn't know because I've only ever seen videos. But really, the thing that I want out of a new Budokai Tenkaichi is to keep up with Tenkaichi 3's thing that I really liked. Because I can't really call it a main gimmick, because I don't know if it was. But I just really liked how you could transform into the other forms during a match. So you choose normal Goku, and you can go up to Super Saiyan 4, because that was the latest version at the time.
Standard Goku could not.
Then which one could?
Only GT Goku.
Oh yeah. But Standard Goku still could go up to Super Saiyan 3. Because that was the canon.
There were 5 Gokus. There's Dragon Ball 1 Goku, who is a kid, he can turn into a gorilla. There is early Goku, which is supposed to be Frieza Arc Goku. He can only go up to Super Saiyan 1, and it's difficult for him to do that. There's mid Goku, who can go up to Super Saiyan 2. I think that's supposed to be like Cell, Android Arc. And then late Goku can go up to Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah. And like I like that as a gimmick because that's the point of the show. No, it's not the point, but it's one of the selling points of okay, Goku powers up. And a lot of games miss being able to replicate that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like, especially, Fighter Z is especially goofy every time I play it, because, like, oh, right, if I want to play Super Saiyan Goku, I don't play regular Goku and become Super Saiyan Goku. It's like, oh, the devil trigger. No, I gotta pick Super Saiyan Goku on the character select menu. What?
Yeah, and like Budokai Tenkaichi 3 allowed you to select the Super Saiyan transformations as well, if memory serves. Like you could select the versions that could go up to that with the transformation already.
Yeah.
But that's different.
You could even power down and go from one form to another.
That's what I was gonna say. Like that's different because the powering or the leveling mechanic is still there. You just chose to raise your handicap.
Yeah. And the super forms of pretty well every character was there. The crazy thing is that they have like all 8 forms of Frieza. That's the crazy.
Yeah. And like, once again, are games like these balanced? No. Do they need to be though? That's the question we should be asking. Because if the games are fun and they replicate what they want, like if they set out to replicate the shows, then is it bad that they replicate the shows, even though that means that it's not gonna be competitively viable?
No, it's not in the nature.
Oh, you cut out. What's not in the nature?
I was just gonna say because it's not in the nature of the thing, you know.
Yeah. Like, I guess I'll just be shouting out a lot of Bemco, like Cyber Connect Arena Fighters, but like think about the One Punch Man game. The game is about delaying the opponent until One Punch Man shows up, because you don't balance that shit. And Honestly, they probably just should have made him a normal playable character that kills everyone in one punch. That would have been funnier.
It would have been funny, but they still want there to be at least some gameplay, because having it where you can just pop in One Punch Man and kill somebody instantly is funny for about 30 minutes, and then after that, it's not funny anymore. Like, with Tenkaichi, there was the same thing of you could pop in Super Saiyan 4 Goku at any time and annihilate anyone on the roster in seconds. But that was only funny for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And that is kind of an eye-catching or ear-catching thing to say, oh, the way this game works is you are just delaying the opponent until the actual guy arrives to save the day. That is a unique idea.
I guess, although people didn't really like the gimmick, from what I understand. Like the people who actually like One Punch Man were disappointed with the gimmick.
Well, of course, there's a lot of people that want the One Punch Man power fantasy, but how do you make that interesting as a game?
Yeah. Well, you don't make an arena fighter, you make a beat 'em up.
And you design a set of enemies that just tries to avoid you.
But yeah, there's also the Macadamia arena fighters, but I've honestly not seen them. Like,
I heard about them, and I at first thought it was an actual fighting game, and then when I saw it was an arena fighter, I was like, oh, alright, anyways.
yeah, like the problem with that is that like I saw it while it was being developed. Like, you know, I saw the trailers and I went, maybe CyberConnect will just take the advancements they made in Ninja Storm 4 and then just make it so the other arena fighters prosper now that Naruto's as an IP is done. Which, boy, was I wrong. But
yeah,
but I digress. But then Macadamia, and the thing with the transition there is that Naruto, like the changes they made to 4 made it more fun because you could switch between your teammates. Macadamia is generally a show where there are no teammates. It's one-on-ones, so can't really do the gimmick that made the last game good if there's no reason to do the gimmick. And yeah, like I don't know if those games were received by the fans. I haven't really heard about the games, which probably means that they weren't.
I mean, I think any given arena fighter is just kind of handled with a thing of like, oh, this is here, I guess.
Yeah.
Play it for a couple hours for the fan service, and then just kind of forget it exists.
But yeah, speaking of, I guess, they announced a new Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm because Naruto the Boruto Shinobi Strikers didn't do Xenoverse numbers. Did any of that sentence make sense to you? I'm gonna guess no.
No.
Basically, there's the Dragon Ball, like there's the Dragon Ball, like sort of MMO-ish fighting game that they made that works off of Tenkaichi rules. And people like that a lot. People still play the first one, even though the second one's been out for years, and the first one's still getting DLC next to the second one. So, you know, good money. After Ninja Storm 4, Demco went, we're gonna make one for Naruto, because Naruto will also make lots of money. They were wrong. And now they're going back to Ultimate Ninja Storm instead.
I didn't even understand step 1 there. How the fuck does Xenoverse make money? Because you can make your OC. What am I thinking? You can make Dragon Ball OC.
You can make your OC, and also you to get certain like customization items and certain moves, you need to beat the person that used them in the show, and you need to buy that person as DLC.
I see.
So that's how you buy the outfit for your doll with DLC, and there's lots of outfits for your doll. And then once again they tried to do the same with Naruto, but turns out when 90% of the cast wears the same thing, you can't really sell as many outfits.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's all of that. What other news? That's it.
Whew. All right. Well, I can tell you that right now I don't. I haven't really done anything that I can recall of note with fighting games in the last 2 weeks. I'm sure I put a little bit more time into Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 11 and Injustice 1 after talking about it the previous week. Oh, I just remembered something I did find in Injustice 1. I forgot how crazy. There is one particular Doomsday move in Injustice 1 that is so goddamn crazy.
What is it?
Have you ever heard of Doomsday's main mix-up tool in Injustice 1?
Probably not.
Okay. So, Doomsday has this special move. It's on down forward 2.
Yeah.
And he just sticks his arm forward and just kind of lazily smacks it to the ground. So here's the thing. When he swings it downward, his fist is a hitbox that hits overhead. When his fist makes contact with the ground, it becomes another hitbox where he makes a little earthquake, and that hits low.
Oh.
And there's about maybe a frame or two between the overhead and low hitboxes.
I see.
So not only is that just a guaranteed noob killer, even for the proest of pros in Injustice, in order to get ready for the Doomsday matchup, you have to have that as a thing that you are just trained to do. To block high and then immediately block low afterwards. That is a thing Doomsday just does for free. It is a shockingly fast move.
Oh.
Like, it is crazy. And here's the thing that's extra crazy. You can also meter burn it. If you meter burn it, he skips the overhead and just hits low, which is inherently already a mix-up. And if it connects, it's a pop-up.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. And here's another thing.
I thought you were gonna say if it on hit the EX one hits overhead after the low, because fuck you.
And here's another thing.
Yeah.
Doomsday also has a move where he jumps up in the sky, and then he comes back down just a little bit ahead of where he used to be, with a skydive. That move, while heavily telegraphed, is unblockable.
Oh.
And when he jumps straight up, that's also a Shoryu.
Oh.
So it's simultaneously an anti-air, but it's also a telegraphed unblockable. With a hard knockdown as well, let me throw on there. And if he meter burns it, the second portion, when he comes back down from the sky, cracks, and it's still unblockable.
Neither am I.
So, Doomsday has a lot easier of a time with the Deathstroke matchup than a lot of other characters. Because if you get a Deathstroke that's sitting at the other side of the screen, or a Superman that's sitting on the other side of the screen, and just zoning the shit out of you, and Doomsday has at least one chunk of meter, he just says, no, fuck you, full screen unblockable.
Yeah.
And Doomsday, by the way, is not considered one of the top tier characters.
Oh.
He's still well below Martian Manhunter, Zod, Batgirl, Superman, I think Green Lantern, Aquaman. Oh, good God, Aquaman. So I remember there was actually a YouTuber who put out a series of y'all don't remember how broken Injustice 1 was. And that Doomsday move was one of the ones he highlighted. And you can just go back and see how crazy it was. But, like, have you ever seen how Aquaman has that Trident Rush, right? The Trident Rush.
Yeah.
And he can meter burn it, so he throws out even more. And also, he can dash while doing it, so he keeps moving forward while doing it, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that move does like 10% chip?
Oh, no. No, I haven't.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And remember, Aquaman has the exclusive ability. He is pretty well the only character in the game who has not quite a burst. It's actually just kind of he slips out of combos.
But yeah, he's very wet. Slippery.
Straight up. So any juggle-based combos you have, like, you just gotta work around Aquaman differently because you just don't get to cash as much damage out on Aquaman as you do on everyone else on the roster. So Aquaman is a character you just have to beat him in the neutral. More. Like... Oh, boy. Injustice 1 is a wild game, dude.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Oh, boy. And then in that same game, Joker is right there. And Joker in Injustice 1 is so fucking bad. It's crazy. Anyways, yeah, that whole thing. The Doomsday mix-up in particular. Like, that's one of the most ridiculous examples of this character is brutal, why is he mid-tier, right?
Yeah.
I always find those examples funny like that of guys who just mess with the balance way too much. It reminds me of the other thing, like Alpha 2 is one of the only fighting games that has a character who is very commonly banned, but is actually considered mid to low tier. Do you know who that character is?
No.
Evil Ryu. Because his V reversal is just entirely fucked in that game.
Ah.
Like, I forget how it works, but he honestly just changes the way the entire game works with his V reversal. And at a certain point, most of the alpha community agreed, even though this guy isn't really that good, they just agreed to ban him at a certain point at most of the tournaments. Forget what it was. Like, it was something like, especially with Alpha 2, the reversals were really strong in general. Like, Rose is considered fantastic in Alpha just because of a reversal, right?
Yeah.
So, just weird shit like that. Like, what's an example you can think of a character who is just brutal? Why is he mid-tier? Or conversely, this character is lame as shit. Why is he so top tier? Right?
Yeah. Dan pre-patched.
Yeah. Dan was a great example of like this character is nothing special unless he wins neutral, in which case he wins. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, I forget, did the Dan combo only work in the corner?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, Dan can still do that, depending on the decisions of God.
Yeah, like the RNG still allows him to do that, but not just like it's not an infinite anymore because you're not getting good enough RNG to make it an infinite.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's another one?
What?
Iron Man and any of the Marvel vs. Capcoms.
Ah, yeah.
The most famous infinite combo of all time, and Iron Man is pretty well always mid-tier, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, look, maybe the other infinites would be more well known if there were hype videos about them.
Yeah.
Hype tutorials, mind you, not just show off videos. Hype tutorials.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like
I haven't even played Marvel 2 in like 15 years, and I know the infinite just because of the video.
Yeah. Well, there's not many combos that have like almost a rhythmic song attached to them, you know?
Yeah.
Marvel, come to think of it, is a great example of loads of characters who should be broken, but no, they're in Marvel. How much broken bullshit is there in Marvel 2 that is nonetheless irrelevant because it's the same game that has Cable, Storm, Magneto, and Sentinel?
Yeah. I feel like that's genuinely one of those games where you don't see a number, you just say, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the exact number of broken shit.
Gambit can actually break the fucking game, and he's not top tier.
Yeah. Uh,
Thanos with his bubble shit in that game is not top tier. Oh boy.
Speaking of Marvel,
Conversely,
go ahead.
characters that are like, what characters are there you could think of where when you play them, there's nothing really exciting about them, but then every tier list is like, this character is broken. Because, like, for me, I always think of Street Fighter 3 Chun-Li. Pretty well always considered the best character in the game. I have never been super impressed by her, so I still don't really get why, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna say Johnny. Like, Johnny strikes me as a character from Guilty Gear, I mean. Like, Johnny strikes me as a character where he just has really good fundamentals. Like, he has really good basic tools. And then also coins in XX. But, you know...
Yeah.
Like, in XX, I can see more why he'd be top tier. But in Xrd, it's just like, well... It just seems like he's really good at mix-ups. Which is a problem, sure, but... I don't know.
This is Guilty Gear. Everyone's a mix-up character.
Yeah. Conversely, I don't see how Elfmelt is a high tier, or like super high tier, you know, in Xrd, because you know it's one of those things where like I see the mechanics. I can see how some of these mechanics could be abused by someone who knows how to use them better. But there's only like I feel like there's only so much that would take you. Like, I know the aimed shot is probably broken in someone who can actually aim it really fast. But past that, like, the pistols are just a jab. The shotgun has a really slow startup. Because you have to roll into it more or less.
It is, but the shotgun combined with a grenade is such brutal pressure, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in particular, you remember that match we had? There was my Dizzy versus your Elfel, and how much of it you could just get done by just shotgun butt, over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's true. Like, yeah, once the shotgun gets out, then yeah. Let's see. Who else can I think of where I'm not really impressed by them, but they're supposedly very high tier? I mean, I can do the classic move.
Who's that?
But like the classic move for me is, well, like my main is obviously not high tier because I know how to use that kit. So just, you know, Akuma, for example, like, you know.
Yeah, I was about to...
Like, Akuma is one of those
classic,
things. Yeah.
Either I'm maining a high tier character. Oh no, he's not really that good. Or I'm maining a low tier character. Guys, this character's broken. Just nobody knows.
Yeah. Because, like, you know, to me, Akuma isn't anything special, but I've been playing Akuma for my whole life, more or less. So, you know, you would assume that at this point, Akuma would be, like, I would be used to Akuma's kit. And, like, I can look at Akuma in a vacuum and go, yeah, I can, like, you know, he does have more options than most everyone else, usually.
Yeah.
And then they used to balance that with him being a glass cannon, but now he's not. That's gonna be weird.
Yep.
So yeah, who else can I actually think of that actually fits this instead of just being a meme? I don't know, because I don't really look at tier lists all that much.
Yeah, there's definitely, like... I mean, tier lists also just aren't a fair actual, like, estimation of the quality of a character a lot of the times, because, let's be real here, a lot of people tend to overrate their character if their character's weak, or underrate their character if their character is strong, overrate particular characters they hate fighting.
Yeah, and then there's also the thing of, like I don't spend a lot of time looking at tier lists in any game, just because generally I'm not at the point where tier lists matter. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I could look at the tier list for Siege just to bring up something that's not a fighting game. I could look at a tier list for Siege and see that, like, I don't know, I'm forgetting his name, the guy with the flashbang for the shield. Like, I can see that he's really good. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use him in a way that's good. So does it mean the character is shit or the character is good? That doesn't really make a difference now, does it? Because, once again, in other people's hands, maybe good. In my hands, no. And, like, since I am the one playing the game, and I am the one looking at the tier list, what matters to me is, do I use this character good? Yes, no. Like, obviously, with fighting games, there will be a time when, okay, character will just have a very bad matchup that they would otherwise not have a bad matchup with, if they were higher tier, but, like, that's fighting games. You just have bad matchups sometimes.
Yeah.
Hell, I can point out to you a matchup that's a bad matchup for me as a player, not even with any character in particular. Because like you put up Slayer against me, and I will choke. Like regardless of who I'm using, Slayer will beat me. I wanna say 8 out of 10 times. That Slayer is just a good matchup against me, the player.
Yeah.
And like Slayer's actual spot in competitive play doesn't really change the fact that Slayer outplays me inherently for some reason.
Yeah. I just outplay you and I always play Slayer. Cool.
Yeah.
Just ignore my results when I play any other character, please.
I'm also looking at other news because I forgot to check before the news dried up. But yeah, did you play anything else aside from Injustice 1, I guess, while I do that?
I don't believe I did. I probably put a little bit of time into Mortal Kombat 11. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this probably on the last one, but I finished Melina's character towers in Mortal Kombat 11.
Ah, yeah.
So, yeah. I put in all that work for maskless Melina because I'm a crazy person. Worth it.
I mean, that makes more sense than me doing Kano's towers to then not use his customization thing that I got from it. Because I think it looks bad. But yeah, I did see a new news, which is Batman has been revealed for Guilty Gear Strive.
Ah, yeah, Batman?
So yeah, Batman. I should have fucked up the bit. Batman is now coming to Guilty Gear Strive.
We've switched from doing it questioningly to doing it excitedly.
Yeah. But yeah, Batman is coming to Guilty Gear Strive. They also revealed the next character. Well, they teased the next character, but everyone knows who it is.
Oh, I didn't see the tease. Who is it?
It is, in fact, Oscar R. Krauts.
Oh, right. Yeah. Actual Batman.
Yeah, actual Batman.
Because let's be real here. Happy Chaos is not actually Batman.
And I saw someone being really angry at this. The post was something like, Season 2 sucked. We can get all of these boring shit. Where's Johnny? Where's Slayer? And the answer is easy. Season 3. They've already announced they're working on it, man. It ain't that hard.
Like, Strive wound up being a bigger success than I think they really anticipated. Viking sold Season 1 of DLC, and Season 2 probably got partly sold on the idea of Slayer and Johnny. So they can absolutely keep going for a Season 3 using either Slayer or Johnny, and then a Season 4 using whichever one they don't in Season 3. Now the question is, who comes first, my boy or your boy? The answer is it doesn't matter because neither of us are going to play the game anyways.
I was gonna say, at this point, I'm pulling for Johnny to not be in the game. Fuck it.
I mean, Slayer would be the I feel like either of those characters would actually be ones they wouldn't change too much.
I don't know, cause
Like
yeah.
They'd make their tools weaker, but like those both are in kind of. I mean, Soul's special because Soul is Ishiwatari's guy, and there's probably another reason why Soul got way less nerfs than everybody else. But like, the whole thing of Strive is, what if we brought it down to just neutral and footsies and small combos? That has always been Johnny and Slayer's thing.
But that's the thing, that's been some of their thing for you because you don't play, like, they used to be more. And they could do that.
Has Johnny ever really been a combo character?
Yes. I mean, did he do combos traditionally? No. There was a lot of throwing money. Yes. But yeah, like Johnny can do combos in XX and Xrd. So like, you know, if they put him into Strive, then he'll just be Mistfinder Man. And if I want to play Mistfinder Man, I can play Yamazaki. Like...
Eh.
Because like, I don't see them bringing back the different coins. I don't see the coins really doing much in Strive. Slayer will probably remain mostly the same. He'll have his teleportation further nerfed, and then that's probably it.
Well, he's definitely not going to get any of the crazy special tools he picked up in Exard or X2.
Yeah.
He's probably going to have less options out of Dandy Step, for instance.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if the only two moves he gets out of Dandy Step are Pile Bunker and the Genocide Cutter.
Probably. And the other person.
And again, Pop pretty well didn't lose anything. He traded the ICPM in for the machine gun, and that's really it.
That's true, but Pot never had a very expensive move list.
That is also true, yes. It's entirely difficult to predict, though, just because like there's so much where you can just look at Soul and see, oh, Soul didn't lose fucking anything.
Yeah,
and then at the same time, look at so many other characters who lost everything. So it's really just a complete toss-up.
Yeah, it's like look at Soul, look at Bridget, look at Chip, look at Ram, and like Ram. Here's the thing, like Ram isn't even bad. Allegedly, new Ram is bad. Allegedly, no, I know this for a fact that new Ram is good because 6P, my bane, but. Yeah. But she's also not the same character at all. It's a completely different character with posing with the same feet.
Yeah. I think in this game the focus changed to thighs.
Probably, I don't know. But yeah, either which way, like, you know. Like Chip allegedly has his tools, and he is still oppressive, but he's not the same character either.
Yeah. Boy, we just repeat the same fucking points every time Strive comes up.
I mean, what is there to say? Because neither of us really enjoy Strive. Somehow, I have more of a stomach for it than you do, but regardless. Again, I bitch more about Strive, but also whenever we play Strive, I'm just like, well, this is a game. I'll play it for 2 hours and then I'll install. I'm fine. You're in the background yelling in anger.
I did not have a good time last time we played it. Like, it's harder for me to think more so of a fighting game where the first time I played it, I enjoyed it somewhat. Second time we played it, oh, what the fuck.
I mean, technically, wasn't the last time the third time because we were in both of the betas, or was that only me? Was I the only one in the private beta? I think it was both of us.
I don't recall.
Because if memory serves, we played it during the private beta, then we played it during the open beta, and then we played during the netcode beta that was post release.
Probably, yeah.
And then we didn't play it during the latest beta because we had enough.
The first beta, at the very least, I almost certainly was I want to say the first beta was the one where I was trying to make Nago work. Nago didn't work. Beta 2, hey, Potemkin is really fucking good. I'm not gonna play him. I'm gonna try to make Faust work instead. Beta 3, fuck it, I'm just gonna play Pot.
Yeah.
Nago is one of the most disappointing characters in fighting games for me.
Pre-release,
I was...
both of the new characters, I want to say. Like, I don't want to count Gold Lewis, because Gold Lewis had a statement, and he made that statement, and I respect him for it. I don't like his playstyle, but I respect him for it. Like, he doesn't feel like a alpha character, unlike the other two. Whereas Nago feels held back by the constraints of Guilty Gear Strive. Giovanna feels like they made like 1/4 of a character, and then went, nah, that's fine, ship it.
Yeah.
Like, she has the aesthetics, she has the animations, she has the idea for a moveset, and then she just doesn't really have a moveset. She has like maybe 2 mix-ups in her entire kit, and if the opponent knows those 2 mix-ups, guess you just don't play the game.
Yeah.
Because like Giovanna is from what I understand, even on like higher levels, is mostly just like, okay, so I have a mix-up where I will either sweep you or grab, and it's that and spacing, and I can do that with any character, and they might even have moves other than that, You
know me, I'm kind of hesitant to say I'm kind of hesitant to say Giovanna has literally nothing except for these 2 tools, because I've not invested the time into learning Giovanna. Like, there are pro players who have invested a lot of time learning Giovanna, and I'm sure they have more than that. But it's just like, there's a difference between saying I think Giovanna has limited tools. Like, okay, I hate to just go back to doing the same goddamn thing time and time again, where we have the same fucking talk about Guilty Gear. But like, I just want to say, neither of us are Strive pros. I'm sure Giovanna has more than just that. Because at the end of the day, and I don't mean to be a dick, because I'm not trying to just devalue entirely your opinion on Giovanna, but you haven't put dozens upon dozens of hours of time in with her,
I've put in 13 hours. Like, it's not dozens upon dozens, but it's 1 dozen. Like, during the open beta, I played her for the entire, it was the open beta, I think. I played her for the entire open beta, and no one else.
Right, but at the end of the day, you're kind of like trying to speak as a definitive authority on Giovanna, who knows all things Giovanna. And neither of us are really in a position to be a definitive authority on Strive. Anything in Strive.
I don't know the UI. We can talk about the UI pretty definitively.
The UI isn't the winner, but at the end of the day, I deal with worse UIs in games I enjoy a lot more.
But yeah, like, it's one of those things where, like, I wouldn't say, or I wouldn't try to speak so definitively in Giovanna if I heard other things. But, like, even disregarding my opinion on her, whenever I see discussion around Giovanna, it's just, well, Giovanna can do this one thing, and Giovanna can also do this one thing, and people making fun of Giovanna players for complaining about Giovanna being able to do one thing. So, it's a thing of, like,
Yeah, I guess I don't pay attention to the Guilty Gear community, so maybe that is really obvious knowledge, and I just, me not paying attention to the Guilty Gear community. Just didn't know, you know?
Yeah. Like, genuinely, since release, I wanna say, the biggest meme about Giovanna players has just been Giovanna players complaining about not having a kit. And it's
You
like...
should consider playing another game, then.
Yeah. I am. But yeah, like, you know, Giovanna was a very good, like, show for me of, like, okay, maybe I don't like Chip. Maybe I don't like how Chip was handled in this game. I tried the new character who is supposed to represent the game. Oh, the new character is kind of the same. Like, there's similar problems, only technically I don't have anything to call upon that they used to have.
And there's our Strive talk for the day. That just finishes it all, don't it?
Yeah. Then, rollback is coming to Fightcade. Well, the rollback is for PS1 is coming to Fightcade.
Woohoo!
Yay.
I haven't downloaded Fightcade.
Me neither, but we really should.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, going back to Marvel for a bit. Let me see if I can find it. This is, you know those topics you like a lot where someone just posts some meme and then that's their argument.
Favorite fucking Reddit takes. Thanks.
Yeah.
This generation is fucked.
Always
And
has
I'll
been.
end up with brain rot and stupid opinions, and then we'll wonder how we got here. Then we'll look back at, you know, nice opinion, dipshit. Now look at Goku charging up. You posted it in your Discord. Okay, I don't have sound notifications turned on.
Yeah, I've just posted it. It took me this long to post it.
Okay.
So yeah, someone made the astute observation that it is actually the Westerners' fault that DNF Duel failed.
Yes, classically, as we all know, Japanese audiences never get anything wrong. As we know, dumb Westerners, stinky, superior Japan, superior Nihon.
Not even just that Westerners are dumb, but for you see, Westerners are hypocrites because they like Marvel too, but don't like DNF Duel, which are obviously
Okay,
the
let me
same
throw
game.
this. Let me throw this out there just as the immediate thing. Dare I suggest the iconic casts of Marvel Comics and a variety of successful Capcom video game franchises may just be a bit more endearing than the cast of Dungeon Fighter.
What, do you not like Brawler? What is your?
I'm sure that Dungeon Fighter.
What is your problem with Grappler?
I'm sure Dungeon Fighter is hot in Korea. But of course, it did not stick in the West because we don't give a shit about Dungeon Fighter. More importantly than that, if you love the jankiness and the stinkiness and it being over the top and way too much bullshit, Dungeon Fighter Duel has what, 20 characters?
Maybe.
Marvel 2 has 54 characters. Marvel 3 has somewhere in the range of 40, doesn't it?
I think so.
So, if you just want that, like, Marvel has more content. Now, beyond that, into the gameplay stuff, I can't speak on it because I haven't played DNF Duel. I've barely seen any footage of it. I'm not intending to change that anytime soon. It is not a game that interests me. At the end of the day, I don't have the time to get into every fighting game. I'll try every fighting game I get the opportunity to try, But as it is, if I wanted to try DNF Duel, I'd have to spend money on it. And there are other fighting games I'd rather spend money on.
That's technically untrue because there is a free trial on PS Plus, but I digressed.
One of those little 2-hour trials?
Yeah, I think so.
I may actually give that a shot later.
I mean, we
probably not today or tomorrow or even this week, but at some point.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with that is that like if you do that, then we might as well record it. Just like spend an hour in the lab, spend an hour recording it, and then just delete.
Oh hell, I'd probably spend more time in the lab. But anyways, then that right side of the picture, which this is getting put on the video, right?
No.
Oh, well, okay. Well, we haven't explained at all what the picture is then.
Yeah.
Oh, good God. I don't want to go backwards. The left side of the picture is the classic HR meme, right? If a handsome guy hits on a girl at HR, she loves it. If an ugly guy hits on a girl, she calls HR. Whatever. You get the idea, but they've replaced the handsome guy with Marvel vs. Capcom and the ugly guy with DNF Duel, saying they're the same game, but people treat DNF Duel unfairly. It's not anywhere near accurate, but it's... and also the girl is replaced with American/Western FGC. It's stupid. The right side of the picture is Marge from The Simpsons. Her face has been replaced with the Japanese flag. She's doing the I just think potatoes are neat bit. But instead of a potato, it is a picture of the logos for DNF Duel, Dead or Alive 6, Soul Calibur 6, Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, Blaze Blue Cross Tag, Melty Blood, Under Night in Birth, and Hokuto no Ken. So that is a big lot of fighting games, many of which are not really tied together, and the only thing that ties them together is none of those games are super popular in the West. And even then, I don't think it's fair to include Virtua Fighter 5 in there, because Virtua Fighter 5 did get an initial big hit because it was free.
Yeah, and also
people just bounced off it.
Yeah, and also like, show me a guy that looks at Hokuto no Ken and doesn't go, okay, that shit's hype. I won't play it, but that shit's hype. I want other people to play it.
It is a really ugly, stupid comparison, because it is just, I don't know, these games just didn't connect in the West. And it's like, okay, but beyond that, what do these games have in common? Nothing. Because let's look here. Dead or Alive 6 is a game that most people would agree is just kind of a bad game. Largely probably because of monetization model. DNF Duel is janky and poorly balanced, and kind of lacks charm. Hokuto no Ken, janky, badly balanced, broken bullshit, but it's in a very charming way. The game is overwhelmingly bad, even just in terms of visuals and audio, where when you start the basketball combo, and you're just hearing those sounds over and over again.
Yeah.
Hokuto no Ken is full-blown 2000s era Arxis, the same Arxis that had such wacky sound design as to make it the Ground Viper and Guilty Gear XX.
Yeah.
Fucking Ground Viper. Remember that shit?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Have they still not fixed how loud Ground Viper is in X2?
I think they have.
Because last I heard they hadn't. Whew. Like, Hokuto, like, DNF Duel, from what I've seen, is not visually jank, or audioly jank. Hokuto no Ken, near everything about that game is jank. And you throw that on top of the Hokuto no Ken art style, the Fist of the North Star art style, of that kind of 80s, early 90s anime aesthetic that was similar to, like, Berserk, for instance, of these big buff dudes with super angular faces. It just makes it all very over the top and hilarious to see. Because you are seeing big buff dudes with angular faces jumping up in the air and bouncing their opponent off the ground like a basketball.
Yeah.
And then to look at, like, let's say Virtua Fighter 5 and Soul Calibur 6. They're both fine games. But at the end of the day, both games were kind of killed. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't really know that much about Soul Calibur 6. Virtua Fighter 5 was more than anything else killed by the fact that it was designed to be played as an online multiplayer game. Single player was just a thing that was attached to the side. Shock of Shocks, only really the hardcore community is into that. The casual community is scared of going online and getting dunked on. So they'd rather play single-player content, which Virtua Fighter 5 lacked. It's a fine game. You can throw any Westerner, casual Westerner, at a match of Virtua Fighter 5, and they'll say, damn, this game is pretty. These are some neat character designs. This is a responsive gameplay. But they're not going to stick with it for very long. And that's exactly what happened. The casual community did try Virtua Fighter 5 because it was free. And the game looks pretty. And it plays nice. But there's no reason to stick with it as a casual player.
Yeah, and then Soul Calibur 6... Soul Calibur 6 was a thing where... I don't know why the casuals bounced off of it. I know the core audience probably bounced off of it because of the gameplay changes. Like, you know, new Soul Calibur's gameplay design is different to old Soul Calibur's gameplay design. And
that's a big part of it. Also, the game has super moves.
I mean, I just filed it on their new game design.
Soul Cal 2 and Soul Cal 3, Soul Cal 1, Soul Edge, none of those games had super moves. While there were always characters who were rather exaggerated, and there were even exaggerated moves in many characters' movesets, Soul Cal and Tekken used to have the distinctive identity of being the grounded fighting games. They both lost that over time, but Tekken has managed to keep popularity through the variety of popular DLC characters and high-quality marketing, being just generally adjoined to a lot of celebrity endorsement, and so on. Soul Calibur didn't get that. Tekken had constant support. Soul Cal got about 5 or 6 years where that franchise was dead, and people forgot about it.
Soul Cal got a reboot and Geralt.
That's another thing. Not Geralt. Geralt, I think, actually probably enhanced the game's popularity.
Geralt probably did.
Much to my chagrin. But Soul Cal was Soul Cal was the rare fighting game series where people actually cared about the story. And that is very rare. I do think there are a lot of fighting game stories that are underrated. But Soul Cal, in particular, had a story that people cared about. And anytime you have to go through that whole thing of Soul Cal 4 and 5 just kind of perverted a lot of it. Okay, we need to go backwards. Also, we're making the timescale as ambiguous as possible here. Where is Soul Calibur 6 supposed to be in the Soul Calibur timeline?
Between 2 and 3. If everybody serves.
I did not know that.
I think it's either between 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. But it's between games.
So Mortal Kombat 9 got away with it by, for one thing, not making it complex at all. Mortal Kombat 9 is explicit from the beginning. We are going back to the very beginning. And on top of that, we aren't even just kind of... it'd be another thing entirely if Mortal Kombat 9, you start the game up and it's the Mortal Kombat 1 tournament immediately. Mortal Kombat 9 actually has a narrative reason for why we're going back.
Yeah.
Because you see the whole thing in the start, Shao Kahn and Raiden on the pyramid, and Raiden going, he must win! There you go. Okay, good reason for a reboot. Soul Cal, it's just kind of it's clear they're saying, okay, we fucked up with the last couple games. Good on you for trying to undo that fuck up. There is a much better way of doing this. There are several much better ways of doing this. Also, it needs to also be said, Bamco has a history of very pretty fighting games. Soul Cal 2 and 3 are some of the best looking games on the PS2. Alongside, Tekken 5, for instance. Soul Cal 6 looked ugly. It had that Unreal Engine slime wet goo to it. Do you know what I mean? The characters looked like toys, and they looked like toys that had just been dipped in a puddle of rain. A puddle of water, whatever.
Yeah.
Geralt was the best looking character in the game. Because he was the one they had to probably pitch the model to CD Projekt Red and get their approval for. So he was the only one that actually looked any good. The actual Soul Calibur characters themselves didn't look good. It was crazy. And on top of that, the character designs just kept getting more and more over the top. Hang on, let me look up Zoslimel's design in Soul Cal 6.
I mean, it's mostly just the same as his Soul Calibur 3 design. If memory serves.
I might be mixing it up with the Soul Cal 4 design then. Let me see. It's still a bit too much. The Soul Cal 3 design was, I won't say subtle. I won't go that far. but there's not so much going on. Look at Soul Calibur 6. Look at the shoulder pads. Look at the big stringy cape. Look at how he's got a belt made out of belts and a shirt made out of belts. And then look at his Soul Calibur 3 design. God, Zoslimel's design in Soul Calibur 3 is so strong. Zoslimel and Soul Calibur 3, I don't often bring it up, but when I think about it, Zoslimel and Soul Calibur 3 is one of my all-time favorite fighting game characters.
I wasn't wowed by Zoslimel just because of one thing. So, as you know, the arena fighter I played the most was the Digimon Rumble Arena. The final boss and the last unlockable character you can unlock in that game is Reapermon, who plays mostly like Zoslimel.
That is funny.
So when I got to playing Soul Calibur 3 and playing as Zoslimel, I was just like, well, I know how most of this works. And like that was a PS1 game, so
yeah.
Like I think I've said this before on the last episode, but like, you know, Namco's games, Namco's 3D fighting games, like I'll say that I like them. You know, I think they're really good, or they used to be really good. But at the same time, there's nothing that really sticks with me out of them. Like not the characters that much, not the stories that much, even though Soul Calibur was good. Like just overall, they're just the fighting games that you played when you wanted 3D fighting games. Because Virtua Fighter is fucking dead.
Yeah. Let's see, what else is on this list? BlazBlue Cross Tag. I mean, stanky controls, horribly gimped character movesets.
Ruby.
Which, boy, we didn't even realize at the time, but that was setting the trend for what was to come with Arxis.
Yeah.
And most importantly, a crossover between a variety of franchises that had their niches but didn't really fit together too well.
Yeah, and then
and it's like,
and then because of where things were at the time, like they should have really delayed that game a couple of years just so we could have Strive first. So we could have Guilty Gear to stand on. Because I feel like one of the big things is just like, nobody really knew Guilty Gear at the time, and maybe people wouldn't have known Guilty Gear after Strive in that universe, but discounting that, Guilty Gear was still the biggest Arxis IP. So
yeah.
it had the largest reach.
Like, I mean, it's also, of course, just one of those things of when everybody saw that, it's like, okay, why is BlazBlue crossing over with any franchises except Guilty Gear?
Yeah.
Because neither of us like BlazBlue that well, but every time BlazBlue comes up, we're like, okay, but yeah, a Guilty Gear BlazBlue crossover would be sick, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said several times before, there are characters off the BlazBlue cast, we want to just, like, stick a syringe into BlazBlue and suck those characters out of BlazBlue and stick that syringe into Guilty Gear and just inject them into Guilty Gear.
Yeah, like... There's
you go ahead. I've been talking a lot already.
I was on a list of characters, so whatever. Really?
Yeah, I was actually going to do the very same. What do you think about transplanting Banshee Shigami?
No.
See, the thing is, I know he's too similar to Chip, story-wise, but gameplay-wise, the whole thing of the nails. There's no one like that in Guilty Gear.
I mean, technically, Johnny has a similar thing with the coins.
Not like that. Where the air maneuverability and unpredictability, you know?
Yeah.
There's no one like Hazma. Zato is there, but Zato is not nearly the puppet character that... Oh, how am I forgetting his name? Carl. Yeah, Carl Clover is. Like, there are some days where it's like, I just want to go in BlazBlue and practice Carl. I'll never be a good Carl, but Carl's wacky. Rachel is wacky, right?
Yeah.
All the weakest characters in BlazBlue are the characters who feel like they were already a Guilty Gear character.
So most of the main
It's
cast.
when BlazBlue went. It's when BlazBlue went off the wall and just had weird ideas that BlazBlue was fun.
Yeah, like fucking Jubei or Susanoo. You need to unlock your moveset during the match.
Yeah, that one.
Like Susanoo is a menace in cross tag just because they removed the you need to unlock your moveset thing. And
Boy.
yeah, like if you unlock the thing that keep the character balanced, you'll find that the character is now unbalanced. Surprising, I know.
So here's another thing to throw in there. You said BlazBlue Cross Tag needed to be delayed by a couple of years. The biggest example of that, remember that the launch roster was 8 BlazBlue characters, the BlazBlue classics. You know, we got Ragna, we got Tager, we got Noel, we got Icecar. Then with Melty, I don't even know who was in. I think with Melty it was just the classic 4. With Persona, it was, I think, just Yu Murakami, Yosuke, Chie, and Yukiko. That's half of the Persona 4 party. I believe it did not launch with Kanji or Naoto or Risei. And with the Ruby cast, they launched with just Ruby and Yang. Like, that's not Ruby, that's just Ri.
I mean, that's already too many Ruby characters.
I knew you were going to just say that. Just entirely get around the point. Like, that's always the issue sometimes when you do these podcasts, is like, I can't even bring up this topic because I know my co-host doesn't even want to vaguely acknowledge it. They just say, "No, it's stupid." Like, I can't even bring up how dumb it is that they only included half of the crew of Ruby. It's irrelevant for me to bring that up because anytime I just say the word Ruby, Addie's just gonna say, "Nah, fuck it." I mean, like, how do you launch with everyone except BlazBlue feeling like you just got half the fucking cast?
Badly.
And, like, it'd be one thing if it's like, okay, it's DLC, so we're just trying to monetize here. This is just a game to make a quick buck. No, they released the other 2 Ruby characters as free DLC. So just wait and put them in at launch.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And I mean, again, also the decision to add more franchises, but the franchise they started with was
Seran Kagura, I think. Oh no, it was Blitzkampf, right?
Akatsuki Blitzkampf, a game that is never going to catch on the West because it's a cast of Nazis.
Yeah.
And they may not have swastikas, but look at those outfits. Look at that aesthetic. It is a cast of Nazis. It is a cast of fascists. You cannot pretend it is otherwise. That is a franchise that works only in Japan, because in Japan, not only were they on the Nazi side, but on top of that, they weren't, like, very different cultural things there. Anti-Semitism is not really a worry in Japan. So they don't take the Holocaust as stiffly as much of the rest of the world does. And of course, there's still parts of Japan where racism is cool. And they still think parts of the Nazi aesthetic are cool. Japan still thinks putting armbands on is cool.
I mean, to be fair, to be fair here, I just wanna say there's a lot of people that for some reason think the Nazi aesthetic is cool.
That is true here in the West, but usually we call those guys skinheads.
Oh no, I'm not even talking about the actual Nazis, not Nazis, haha. Like, you know, not the people who try to pretend that they don't agree. I'm just talking about like random people. I've seen random people allegedly.
People who play Call of Duty World at War and seem to always pick the German side.
Yeah, the people who suspiciously just started learning German for some reason after playing Call of Duty.
Yeah. The people who play Hearts of Iron 4 and are always talking about, Hitler could have won the war if he had just done this. I'm not pro-Hitler, but Hitler could have won the war if he had just done this. And it's like, why do you care so much about that?
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm just now noticing the F in the Virtua Fighter logo is backwards, and now that I've noticed it, it has ruined the Virtua Fighter logo for me. Oh boy, yeah,
But yeah, like to continue on the cross tag. By the way, I just wanted to know that after all of this, like after Akatsuki BlizzConf and them actually getting the guests of the games that they said that they would include, they also just added Senran Kagura.
oh well, that's the immediate death knell for the West when you just add the weird little girl fetish shit. Oh Jesus! And then looking at Melty Blood and Undernight, those are just guaranteed. Like those are we didn't even bother to really build this for the West.
Yeah,
If Westerners are passionate about it, they'll import it. But we did not bother to build this stuff for the West. This is 100% Japan fuel. It is about Japanese high school superheroes. And I like Under Night. I've never given Melty a try. I don't know if I'll ever get around to it. I probably should at some point. I guarantee you if I played Melty, I would just play the little cat thing.
Neko arc, yeah.
I would just play that, because the other characters, it's like, oh, hey, it's dude and guy and woman with broom, and then tiny cat shit demon. I'm taking the tiny cat shit demon.
It's Joel from Mind Sauce, my favorite Under Night or whatever Melty Blood character.
Yeah. Goodbye, Norway.
Yeah. Like I played because you bought me extra second current code, so I have experience with Melty Blood, and like I will never forget the one guy. There's a guy who is like a werewolf vampire dude. I don't know. It's anime werewolf vampire shit, which is to say that he's actually just magic and summons wolf heads. I guess. But I digress. I will never forget that if memory serves, the localization on him really fucked up. So one of his ring quotes is just you cannot handle my bestiality, which no, I don't think I will.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What an image.
In it.
I'm like, there is not like, for this guy to be like making this meme as like, what injustice this is like, there is not a single game you pointed to in that picture that doesn't have a very, very logical explanation why it didn't catch on in the West, dude. I'm honestly more amazed that Dead or Alive 6 and Soul Calibur 6 managed to catch on in the East either.
I mean, I'm gonna be surprised if either of those caught on in the East. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Like, this guy...
Yeah?
I'm not for certain they did. This guy might just be making it up and being kind of like a superior Nihon kind of thing of like, all the games I like clearly must catch on in Japan because the Japanese are people of taste and culture while the filthy Americans. You know what's the goddamn stupidest thing I'm sick of seeing?
What?
People going, oh, the American pro fighting game players are so much better than the Japanese. Or the Japanese pro fighting game players are so much better than the Americans. Why are we lumping them all together?
Yeah, like look at it. Look, not everyone from Asia is JDCR or fucking Daigo, and not everyone from America is Sonic Fox or Justin Wong. Some of us, in fact, most of us are DSP.
Like, it's
like,
yeah, there's a. Hang on, you can't entirely say that because DSP did win Evo once.
That's true, but honestly, if no one else went for an Evo championship, I could win it too.
Like, that's always the rough thing about DSP is, you want to believe he sucks at every game because he has such a bad attitude, but he is a decent fighting game player.
I guess I'll say. I guess I'll say we're all or most of us are low tier gods.
Oh god.
I don't know.
I know low tier god wouldn't be, if there were a bunch of like him, he wouldn't be special.
Yeah, true.
Like, you gotta be digging real deep into the dregs of the low tier bullshit salt players to see just one low tier god level take from one person. No one puts out the sheer quantity of those kinds of takes like low tier god does.
My point is that you know, like, you'll be surprised to find every region has a very level of competition, mainly because people are different, and
yes.
people tend to exist wherever people live. You'll find.
Inconceivable.
You know,
Oh boy.
Imagine if it did work off of the thing of like, well, I was born in America, so I now have the same province as Justin Wong.
Also, why is it gotta be like we're a team?
Yeah.
I don't want to get lumped in with low tier God as my teammate. If I have to deal with low tier God as my teammate, I'm feeding.
Yeah. You're getting your Japanese citizenship right now as we speak. Just so you don't have to be on the same team as low tier
I
God.
don't want that either, because then I'm lumped in with infiltration.
Oh no.
Like, my choices are either horrible, racist, sexist, homophobe, everything else, or wife beater. You spoil me.
You can join Arslan Ash.
Okay, I'm not an expert on the Pakistani player base, but I refuse to believe they're also nothing but saints.
I mean, that's just people in it.
Yeah, 100%. I guarantee you I could dig up a pro Tekken Pakistani player who is like a god at the game, but a terrible person. Like, that one's a rough one, just comparing the America to Japan thing, because it's like, okay, well, low tier god, you don't want to be lumped in with him, but at least he's not really that good at the game. No, Infiltration, though, is really good at Street Fighter. He's also a bad person. Man, with the States, if you get lumped in with the Americans, he's not necessarily a bad person, at least from what I know. I don't want to be associated with Justin Wong, just because I don't want to be associated with a guy who famously came on a Chun-Li statue.
We all have our things.
It's one thing to do it in private, but to get it caught on footage, man. Well, okay, he didn't get his dick out on footage. That's DSP, but for it to be visible in a video, you know?
Yeah. But yeah. Like the thing with this whole Japanese FGC, Western FGC, you have to keep in mind too, is that like the two separate sides of FGC that exist, because as we all know, Europe doesn't exist, the Middle East doesn't exist, but all made up by Hanada.
Yeah.
But you know, like looking at those two, they're mostly the same, because you'll tend to find people who want a competitive experience. We get a competitive experience from the same products, considering that thanks to globalization we get most of the same products now.
Yeah.
And
they're also like with Europe especially, there used to be the divide there of like, oh, Europe is where you go for the Soul Calibur guys, and it's like, no, not really anymore.
Yeah, no, Europe is where you come like, okay, Europe's FGC from what I understand has sort of became like Japan's Mexico. You wanna get stepped for Rugal? Get here. But otherwise,
it always does seem like when I hear about like somebody's doing a Heroes of History tournament, FGC tournament, it's in England. What the fuck? Why are we playing fighting history at a tournament?
Yeah.
England. Okay. Oh, we're playing X-Men Children of the Atom in a tournament. We're playing X-Men versus Street Fighter at a tournament. These are all European tournaments I've heard of.
Yeah, because Europe doesn't really like Europe doesn't have a reason to really go to Evo, so Europe doesn't care, I guess. Like I'm sure that there are people who care and try to learn how to play at an Evo level and stuff like that. I have yet to even see a tournament that's anywhere near me, let alone in my country. So, like I've heard rumors that there's a tournament in Germany. I am not going to Germany for a tournament. You know, like I'm not gonna
just embarrass them.
Like I'm gonna ship myself.
And then people be.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to go to a German tournament, crush it, and then just suddenly people are talking about, they're saying Hungary is the new hotspot for hot fighting game player.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the new Pakistan, boys.
And then that's when I start my 10-year feud with Sonic Fox, which will end with both of us having an actual like wrestling death match in the CEO ring.
In the fursuits.
Yeah, in the fursuits.
Neither of you can really see.
Or breathe, for that matter.
Yeah. You both just die of heat stroke because of the spotlights on the ring.
Both of us die of heat stroke like 5 minutes in, and that's giving a lot of time. It's a last man standing match.
Neither man is standing. What do we do?
Yeah.
Sonic Fox is a skinny dude. You could probably bowl him over pretty easy.
I mean, I'm sure there's a whatchamacallit, or layer of the FGC that would love for that there to actually just be a wrestling match in the middle of Evo.
Oh God, yeah.
I know, I'm one of them.
Imagine
Daigo hitting Justin Wong with the Kawada kicks. Ring Evo. Just fucking.
I would.
Anyway.
When Justin Wong plays just too shitty of a guile, Daigo goes off.
Yeah.
And not the fake Kawada kicks that some wrestlers do. No, the original Kawada stiff ass hell kicks.
Yeah.
Just shin to face repeatedly, shin to nose, wham, 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 wham. I mean, let's be real here. At this point, I think the only way you or I would be happy for them bringing Kenny Omega out on stage for any fighting game events is if Daigo then just comes out and fucking tombstones him.
Yeah. That or if
and puts him in the Undertaker pin.
or if they do a gimmick thing where he comes out and then jobs out to like the various developers that are there.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Watch out! It's Iwatari's coming in from the crowd.
Bandit revolver. He does a springboard Superman punch.
If there's anyone, right, okay. What would Harada do? Harada would do the rolling death cradle.
That or he do the noogie into the power bomb.
I would love that, especially because Heihachi's power bomb, he jumps 10 feet in the air first.
Yeah. Harada does the same. Genuinely, like, breaks Kenny Omega's neck in the process.
Yeah.
It's fine. He can just get the surgery that fuses his bones.
Yeah. Eventually, Kenny Omega will just be one large bone.
Oh, blimey.
Which would, I'm pretty sure, just make him an Amogus, man.
Yeah.
Fucking Hangman Page does the buckshot lariat to him, and it turns him into the Amogus corpse.
Yeah.
Oh.
I look forward to the next fighting games roundtable where they play Amogus for 4 hours and don't announce anything.
Oh.
Harada will still keep putting memes on his webcam though. Anyway.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, we all saw the meme bad edit Tekken 8 roster. But do you remember when they put on not only like DLC character Kratos, but wasn't one of them that had the Amogus Man as a DLC character?
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
And the trouble is, Among Us the fighting game had combos.
those like fake mock-ups and stuff that I saw was mostly just like Final Fantasy characters, actual Italian Senate member Eris.
Right. No,
Uh,
that wasn't Aerith. That was Tifa.
oh yeah, that was Tifa.
Whoever made that video at least had some taste.
But yeah,
I mean, let's be real here. Aerith's boring.
I have no opinion either way.
Unless she's got a steel chair.
I have no opinion either way. I took Barrett on a date, and he complained about it. The fact that I took him on a date.
No, Barrett choice is a fine one. Aerith, though, I think is still better than Yuffie.
Yeah.
Though then again, I've never played past the first hour of Final Fantasy VII, so maybe I should shut up.
I can't really talk about Yuffie either, because I found Yuffie once, and then she ran away, and I couldn't recruit her for the rest of the game.
Whoops.
Yep.
Did you at least get Vincent?
No, I couldn't find the cave with a guide.
Wow. Neither of the secret party members. Whoops.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway. Like, no, really, I left Vincent for when I can play Dirge of Cerberus. And then I'll get him after that.
Oh, yeah. Smart choice.
Anyway, yeah, it was those guys, it was Snake, which is definitely happening especially after that one E3.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm sure at least at this point if Ben and Namco actually like contacted David Hayter to do lines for Snake, he'd just go fuck off.
You know, that was one of the most confoundingly what the fuck, why decisions I've ever seen made on such a large stage.
And the thing
but then made more sense once it came out in the years afterwards. Oh no, wait, the guys that run Evo are a bunch of douchebags.
Yeah. And like the worst part of that, was that Evo or was that E3? I don't remember, but either which way.
Evo.
Ah, okay, yeah. That Evo. But yeah, like that.
Because Harada was there and Harada got pissed.
Yeah, because like the worst part of that is that no one was contacted. Like none of the people who would actually have a legal like reason to talk about this shit were contacted. No one knew.
They didn't even tell David Hayter what he was going to be using those voice lines for.
Yeah.
Like he successfully got everyone involved in legal trouble for some reason. About you, but there's almost a degree of impressiveness to it. To cause so much trouble for so many random people for no reason.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's Chimp with a machine gun. You know?
Yeah. But what was I gonna say? I forget. Exactly that.
Oh no.
Good discussion topic.
Oh no. I just think discussion's neat.
Yeah.
Is that about it?
I'm checking real quick, but it seems like it.
Well, did you actually hit what you did in the last 2 weeks?
No. Well.
No. Ugh.
I feel like I played some other fighting game as well, which I don't remember, but I did play JoJo with my niece.
Is that the newest game?
Oh yeah, All-Star Battle R.
Oh, okay, you missed the joke I was making. The way you spoke it quickly enough that it sounded like you said the name of the game was JoJo with my niece.
You know, that's a JoJo Siva fighting game.
Yeah.
Boy, it's gonna be wild when she awakens her stand.
Oh boy.
But yeah. I played JoJo with my niece. She didn't like the game because the women were not pretty.
You know, are you sure your niece hasn't had a soul transfer done on her by Pink?
I cannot be sure 100%.
We need to interrogate Pink about this later.
No, I know for a fact that the soul transfer hasn't happened because she doesn't like fat characters.
Okay, fair enough.
So
Definitely not Pink then.
yeah. But yeah, like the game was the game. We had a really good match. She liked one match because she was like, I'm gonna pick the bird, picking Pet Shop.
Oh no!
In response, I went with Iggy. So we had a match.
Oh no!
We had a canon
Not
match.
again! That's like one of the few things I know about JoJo. Oh shit!
The worst part of that fight is that even though I watched the series, I can't tell you what happened during that fight. I missed it. Explain that.
I just happened to look away from the screen for an entire 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah, JoJo is fun.
All right. It's definitely on my list for some point. Honestly, there's a better chance that it'll get put on PS Plus before I can actually get it.
I don't know.
At this rate.
I mean, unless you don't plan on buying it for the next 4 years, then probably not.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh boy.
But yeah. And I think that's it.
Alrighty then.
So yeah, I guess fighting games were.
Were they?
Allegedly.
Were they? Were
Maybe.
they worthy?
No. Obviously, fighting games are an outdated genre and should just go the way of the dodo.
I like dodos.